Welcome to NarrativeNook audio tales where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening.
They had to plan stuff ahead so Steve could look after his pregnant wife without worrying about work and home. Okay, we gotta think about this and get it sorted, Daniel agreed, looking at Nicole. If it's necessary, I can stay late at the office. Nicole shook her head, smiling. Nah, Sean and I got it covered. Some department heads could decide stuff on their own, passing tasks as needed, while she and Sean would talk about and figure out the big decisions. She was confident they could handle it. Just don't push yourself too hard, okay? Take it easy, Gloria advised Nicole, looking worried. Nicole nodded. I got it, don't stress. It was getting late, so after a bit of chatting, everyone went upstairs to rest. In Nolan's room, Nicole said, I'll check out everything about Royal Creek Elementary before deciding. But Mommy, I really want to go to Royal Creek Elementary. I'll work hard, even if it's tough, Nolan said firmly. All right, I'll think about what you said, Nicole promised. After Nolan fell asleep, Nicole left his room and went back to hers. She noticed Jared standing by the window. Lana went to sleep fast, huh? She said as she approached him. Yeah, Jared turned to face Nicole, his eyes full of love. It must have been tough for you, giving birth to our kids, Jared said gently, hugging Nicole tightly. Nicole paused, realizing why Jared had seemed upset during dinner. It was because she'd mentioned childbirth preparations. Looking up at Jared, Nicole smiled. I'm okay, and having them was the best thing ever. Having Nolan and Lana made her life much more exciting. It added so much color. Jared held her close, feeling overwhelmed with tenderness, unable to fathom how she'd managed during those times. Nicole nestled into his hug, wrapping her arms around his waist, her face beaming with happiness. To her, the past didn't matter anymore. All that mattered was the joy in her life. The next day dawned bright and sunny. Nicole settled into her office chair when there was a knock on the door, and Ella appeared. What brings you here? Nicole asked, a bit surprised to see Ella. Oh, nothing much. Just wanted to check in, Ella replied, trying to sound casual. Nicole raised an eyebrow, her tone suggesting there might be more to it. Here to see me or someone else? Ella's eyes flickered with awkwardness as he scratched his head. Just checking in. Patricia's busy, Nicole teased, giving Ella a playful look. Did she head to Dill Corp? Ella asked, his instincts kicking in. He had an inkling of what Patricia had been busy with lately. With the Bay Corp matter settled, it was likely that Everett would set his sights on Dill Corp. Ella wondered if Patricia was ready for it. Don't worry, she's got it under control, Nicole reassured Ella after noticing his concern. Okay, Ella nodded. Despite his trust in Patricia's abilities, he couldn't shake off his wariness of Everett's ruthless tactics. If you're really worried, go check on her, Nicole teased lightly. Ella shook his head immediately. I think it's best not to. He and Patricia had agreed to keep their interactions strictly work-related. Going to see her now would break their agreement, something he couldn't bring himself to do. Seeing Ella's conflicted expression, Nicole changed the subject. Anything else? No, just wanted to see if I could help with anything, Ella said. Just focus on that project, Nicole instructed. Lulu said she'd lend a hand too, so if you run into any problems, reach out to her. Okay, got it, Ella replied, then said, I'll head back now. Bye, Nicole nodded. As Ella left Nicole's office, he accidentally bumped into Patricia. Feeling a bit flustered, he quickly explained, I was just talking to Nicole about work stuff. Work? Patricia looked puzzled, thinking, is there some new project he's been working on? Yeah, I'm done talking about it now. Gotta go, Ella said, then rushed toward the elevator. Watching him hurry off, Patricia couldn't help but frown. Why is he in such a rush? Patricia, what are you looking at? Lulu asked, coming over with a hint of confusion. Snapping back to reality, Patricia replied. Nothing, I was just heading to see Ms. Riddle. Let's go together then, I was going to see her too, Lulu suggested. So, they both entered Nicole's office together. Ms. Riddle, everything's sorted with Dill Corp, Patricia reported. Good. Nicole looked satisfied. Everett has also made his move. We'll know more tomorrow, Patricia added. Lulu looked at Nicole seriously. Are you going to the bidding tomorrow? I won't be. Let the general manager handle it, Nicole replied casually, thinking it wouldn't make much of a difference whether she attended or not. I'll go with him, Patricia offered. Since she'd been working on the bidding project, it made sense for her to attend. Sounds good, Nicole agreed. Lulu's expression turned more serious. After tomorrow, I wonder what will happen. She felt that once tomorrow's results were out, Everett would realize he'd been outmaneuvered again and was likely to lose his temper. Nicole's eyes narrowed slightly, her tone heavy with meaning. We should indeed prepare in advance. Do you have something in mind? Lulu asked eagerly. Let's wait for Preston's news, then we'll decide, replied Nicole, thinking. If Preston can uncover Everett's next move, it will make our planning easier. All right, we'll wait, Lulu cautioned. But no matter the plan, you can't put yourself in danger. Nicole smiled reassuringly. Don't worry. After Lulu and Patricia left, Nicole bit her lip slightly, hoping for news from Preston soon. Meanwhile, at Finley Group, Preston was in Gary's office. When Ryder heard Preston had arrived, he joined them too. After Preston explained why he was there to Ryder and Gary, the mood in the room grew serious. That son of the bitch. He's really pushing it, Gary remarked, his face losing color. Our priority is supporting Nicole through this, Preston said firmly, his expression grave. Ryder nodded. Count on us to assist Nicole. Tell us the plan, Gary chimed in, showing his commitment. Here's the deal. I managed to access his assistant's computer before, but I had to bail out fast to avoid detection. Now, I want to give it another shot, but I'll need your backup to keep me covered, Preston explained. Okay, let's do it. Ryder and Gary swiftly prepared their specialized laptops, and the trio delved into their task, each fully concentrated and determined. The next day, Patricia attended the bidding, and Riddle Corporation emerged as the successful bidder. Handing over the documents to Nicole, Patricia reported, Ms. Riddle, everything went smoothly. Good job, Nicole acknowledged, taking the documents. Lulu couldn't resist asking, what was Everett's reaction? He seemed shocked at first, then he left with a grim expression, Patricia replied, her voice tinged with coldness. I'm sure he's figured it out by now. Probably, Nicole agreed, her eyes narrowing slightly, knowing Everett wasn't one to be underestimated. Dealing with him is only going to get tougher, Lulu murmured. As they spoke, Patricia's phone rang suddenly. Frowning, she answered the call. What's up? I'll be right there. After hanging up, Patricia looked at Nicole anxiously. Ms. Riddle, there's a sudden issue at the port. I need to go check it out. Be careful, Nicole advised, sensing the urgency of the situation. She knew it wasn't the time to ask for details. Patricia needed to handle it first. Absolutely, Patricia agreed hastily, knowing she could only explain upon her return. As Lulu watched Patricia leave, her expression grew even more serious. It wouldn't be Everett messing with our raw materials again, would it? Nicole's expression darkened slightly. Could be, she replied, understanding the seriousness of the situation. Lulu sighed, wishing Patricia could sort things out easily. At the Sea Quartet Holdings office, Everett returned with Jerry by his side. They set a trap for us, sir. Did they know about our plan from the start? Jerry asked, his brow furrowed in confusion. Nicole seems to have figured out our plan, but how? It's supposed to be a secret. Patricia's arrival was just a trick to catch us off guard, Everett grumbled, annoyed with himself for not anticipating surprises. But how did she find out about our plan? Jerry wondered. It doesn't matter. What matters is that I failed, Everett said coldly. Everett didn't dwell on how or why Nicole had discovered their plans. He knew her talent for secrecy was formidable, and he realized it was arrogant to assume his plan was foolproof. Clearly, Nicole had hidden her cards well. So, what's our next move? Jerry asked. Forget about it, Everett replied, his eyes reflecting indifference as he glanced at Jerry. What's the situation at the port? There should be updates by now, right? Yeah, the shipment that arrived today isn't the raw materials we were expecting. Good. Everett's mood lifted a bit. At least we're not entirely defeated yet. It's too soon to jump to conclusions. I'm prepared to play the long game. At noon, right after lunch, the meal Lulu had ordered arrived, but Patricia hadn't come back yet. Why's it taking so long? I hope everything's okay, Lulu said, feeling anxious. Let's give it a little more time, Nicole suggested, her expression turning serious. Suddenly, a knock sounded on the office door. Come in, Nicole called out. Patricia entered, looking a bit tired. Ms. Riddle. Come, join us for lunch first, Nicole suggested, noticing Patricia's busy morning. Sure, Patricia agreed, taking a seat on the couch. After lunch, Patricia began. There's an issue with the raw materials. Everett's behind this again, isn't he? Lulu clenched her teeth in frustration. Yes, Patricia nodded. The cargo ship that arrived at the port had the wrong goods. We checked everything before it left, so something must have gone wrong on the way. Patricia added after a short pause. I found out they swapped the goods at the last maintenance stop. So now, the real goods are probably with Everett. Nicole squinted a bit. So, where are they now? Still in San Giotto or at the last stop? I've got someone checking, but no updates yet, Patricia replied. Let's wait for the news then, Nicole said, her tone getting colder. She figured once she knew where the materials were, she'd figure out how to get them back. Lulu expressed her concern. Doesn't this mean Everett might try to ambush us? After all, Everett would likely expect that they would send someone to look for the materials. Even if there's an ambush, we'll handle it coolly, Nicole said firmly. Everett didn't really need those materials, so Nicole knew he was just trying to mess with her. Finding the cargo shouldn't be too hard, but she bet Everett had some traps ready. But she wasn't scared. She might not be at a disadvantage against Everett, especially with Charlie and Zane's people helping out. Looking up at Patricia, Nicole said, You've worked hard. Go rest for a bit. Patricia stood up saying, I'll report back as soon as there's news. Nicole nodded, watching Patricia leave the office before turning to Lulu. It's okay now, you go rest as well. All right, Lulu agreed, standing up and then reminding Nicole, since there's nothing we can do right now, you should rest too. It's okay, go ahead, Nicole assured her with a gentle smile, urging Lulu to leave. After Lulu left, Nicole leaned against the couch, her gaze growing increasingly deep. Nicole's phone rang, jolting her out of her thoughts. She quickly answered. Hey, Martin. Nicole, today's when Patricia's supposed to stop her treatment for her face. Her wound should be all healed up after today. Will you be able to swing by after work? Martin's voice carried a hint of uncertainty. Sure thing, we'll be there, Nicole replied, feeling a bit confused by Martin's tone. Good to hear. We really can't afford any more delays this time, Martin said with a sigh of relief. Nicole frowned slightly, starting to understand what Martin was getting at. She probed. Are you saying Patricia missed her treatment last time? Yeah, didn't you know? Martin sounded surprised. Nicole let out a sigh. Okay, got it. I'll make sure to remind her after work. Will both of you be coming together then? Martin asked once more. Yeah, we'll both be there, Nicole confirmed. Knowing this was Patricia's last treatment session, Nicole felt a sense of importance about being there to see it through. If it worked, Patricia's face would finally be all better. All right, let's meet up after work. See you then. After hanging up, Nicole couldn't shake a slight frown. She couldn't help but wonder why Patricia had missed her treatment. Is there something more important than her treatment? She thought to herself. At the end of the workday, Patricia and Lulu came to get Nicole so they could all leave together. Nicole glanced at Patricia and asked, "Are you heading to Martin's lab for your treatment today?" Today. Patricia blinked, remembering that it was indeed supposed to be today. Martin said you missed the last appointment too. You would have forgotten again if he hadn't reminded you. Why? Nicole asked, her brow furrowed. Patricia lowered her head. I got caught up with some urgent stuff last time. She had indeed forgotten this time too, as she had been preoccupied with the issue of the raw materials. Even if there's work, you could ask someone else to handle it. Your face is more important, Nicole expressed concern. Work can wait, but delays with your wound on face could cause problems. Ms. Riddle, I'll go in a bit, Patricia said, her voice dropping lower with what seemed like shame. Let's head over. Martin mentioned today might be the last time for the medication change. I want to be there to see. Nicole didn't scold Patricia any further, simply urging her to move along. The last time. Does that mean Patricia's face will fully recover soon? Lulu exclaimed, surprised. Then count me in, I want to see too. Let's go, Nicole said, leading them to the car. Once inside the car, Lulu called Spencer to let him know they were heading to Martin's lab. Shortly after, they arrived and entered the lab, where Martin and Cindy were already waiting for them. All set and ready. Seeing Patricia, Martin's expression seemed somewhat helpless. You missed the last appointment. Otherwise, today might have been your final treatment. If Patricia had attended the last session, they would have seen a fully recovered Patricia today. I'm sorry, I was caught up with some stuff and forgot, Patricia apologized, aware of Martin's disappointment as he had everything ready but she hadn't shown up. All right, just take a seat, Martin sighed, sounding resigned. We're ready to begin. All right, Patricia said, easing into her seat, ready for Martin to redo her bandage. After a bit, Martin put the medicine on her face and told her to keep the bandage on for 3 days. Here, let's all have some water. Cindy handed out glasses to everyone. They all sat, sipped water, and talked. Your scar's already getting lighter. If you don't squint, you can barely see it. With this medicine, it'll vanish even more till you can't see it at all, Cindy told Patricia. Martin sounded a bit sorry. But there will still be a scar, you know. Your face won't ever go back to how it was before, Patricia replied calmly. Just the scar fading away is already more than I hoped for. I'm not expecting a miracle. Without Nicole, Martin, and Ella's help, her face wouldn't have healed at all. For her, this was unexpectedly lucky. That's great. Patricia will still look just as pretty, Lulu said happily. If it's nearly gone, then that's fine. It's almost like it was before. We did what we could, Martin said, glancing at Nicole. This is mostly thanks to you. I couldn't have gotten such good results by myself. Maybe he could have figured out a way to help Patricia with the scar, but there would have been some leftover marks, unlike the result they have now. It's fair to say it was a team effort, Nicole replied, modestly smiling. This wasn't something she did alone. Cindy looked at Nicole and asked, May I treat you to dinner today? Is everything okay? Nicole noticed something strange in Cindy's tone and furrowed her brows slightly. She doesn't sound like it's just a casual hangout with friends. Well, I'm leaving, so think of it as a goodbye dinner for me, Cindy said, forcing a bitter smile. After all this time, she felt like she couldn't keep holding on and was ready to let go of her feelings for Martin. You're going back? Why all of a sudden? Lulu was shocked. Didn't she come here for Martin? Is she giving up now? It's nothing. My research project ended a while ago. and I've been here longer than needed. It's time for me to go back. Waiting around felt suffocating, so she wanted some fresh air. Are you sure about this? Nicole asked, showing concern. Yeah, I've made my decision, Cindy said firmly, feeling there was no reason to stay any longer. Nicole glanced subtly at Martin, noticing he seemed lost in thought. It meant Cindy hadn't talked to him about her decision. With a quiet exhale, Nicole said, "Since you've made your mind up, we'll respect it." Okay then. I'll treat everyone to dinner tonight. Think of it as one last get-together with me, Cindy felt. A pang of sadness, knowing she'd be losing not just Martin but also these good friends. Her time in San Giotto hadn't been entirely in vain. At least she'd gained friendships worth holding on to. Let's go, Nicole said, rising from her seat. Patricia and Lulu trailed behind Nicole as they left, leaving Cindy and Martin to change clothes. After switching out of their lab coats and into casual attire, they met at the door. Their eyes locked, and Cindy nervously bit her lip, stepping back to let Martin go first. Martin stood still, studying Cindy with a mixed expression. When did you decide? I've been mulling it over for the past few days, but the final call came to me just now, Cindy explained. You. Martin started to speak, but then he simply said, "Well then, I hope your journey back goes smoothly." Thanks, Cindy nodded, avoiding Martin's eyes. She was afraid that if she met his gaze, she might second-guess her decision and be tempted to stay. But deep down, she knew going back was the right move. Martin glanced at Cindy one last time before leaving the lab. After locking the door and handing the keys back to Martin, Cindy said, "Starting tomorrow, I won't be coming in. I'll pack up my things and get everything sorted out, and I'll leave in 3 days." Taking the keys, Martin felt like they were burning in his hand, almost tempted to drop them. "Cindy, we have one more guest, you don't mind, right?" Lulu, arm in arm with Spencer, smiled and asked Cindy. "Of course not, the more the merrier. It won't feel so empty when I leave," Cindy replied with a smile. "Then I'll ride with Spencer," Lulu said, getting into the car with him. Lulu hadn't anticipated Spencer coming to pick her up from the lab, but since she'd already committed to attending Cindy's farewell dinner, she had no choice but to bring him along. "I'll ride with Ms. Nicole," Patricia said, joining Nicole in her car. Feeling somewhat awkward, Cindy gathered her courage and said, "I guess I'll ride with Nicole." Although she'd previously traveled with Martin, now that she'd decided to leave, she suddenly didn't know how to face him. Maybe more than anything, she worried about her own reluctance to part ways. "Come in my car," Martin suggested, breaking the silence for the first time. Cindy secretly bit her lip, feeling a mix of emotions, but she could only agree with a stiff nod. Okay. Once in the car, they both sat in silence, the air heavy with tension. "You." Martin started. "You." Cindy started at the same time. They paused, then Martin said, "You go first." "No, you first," Cindy deferred. In truth, Cindy didn't have anything particular to say. She just wanted to break the ice and avoid the awkwardness. But now that Martin prompted her, she found herself at a loss for words. Seeing her hesitation, Martin spoke up. "I just wanted to say, if you need any help, you can ask me." Cindy bit her lips slightly, trying to hide the bitterness in her heart as she replied, "No need, I can manage on my own." "You don't have to be so formal," Martin's brow furrowed slightly. With a faint smile, Cindy looked at Martin, her gaze steady. "I didn't bring much with me when I came, and I won't be taking much back. I can handle it myself, really." Moreover, she figured that sorting things out by herself might help her keep her emotions steady, compared to having him around, which would just make things tougher. Martin heard her but didn't push. He felt a bit sad inside. Quietly sighing, Martin told Cindy, "Okay then, just make sure you're cautious with everything." "I will," Cindy said. After a while, everyone reached the restaurant. They stood together outside their cars and all nodded, saying, "Let's head in." "Okay," Lulu said with a sad look, This will be my first time finding it hard to say goodbye at a farewell dinner. Yeah, Spencer replied, trying to cheer her up. But remember when Cherry left? You weren't this sad. Well, that was different. Cherry left to find happiness. But Cindy... Lulu paused, not wanting to say the word heartbreak. She understood that mentioning Cindy's reasons now would only make it more awkward for Cindy. She thought to herself, after living in San Giotto for so long, Cindy must have felt really sad to decide to leave. I'm going back because I miss home, and well, that's where I belong, Cindy said, trying to sound cheerful. But what she didn't say was that part of her reason for leaving was because she didn't feel like she fit in here. Let's head inside, Nicole suggested, sensing the somber mood. Sure. They all agreed silently and went into the restaurant together. Once they were seated and had ordered, Cindy lifted her glass first. I want to thank you all for being so kind and welcoming since I came to San Giotto. You've been amazing friends, and I feel really lucky to have met you. We're lucky to have met you too, Lulu replied, smiling warmly. Even though they were sad to say goodbye to Cindy, they knew they couldn't change the situation. So, they all agreed to celebrate her farewell with happiness. They didn't want a gloomy atmosphere to ruin the mood. They raised their glasses in agreement, saying, even though you're going back, we hope you'll come visit us often. I will, and if any of you ever come to my country, you must let me know so I can show you around, Cindy said, feeling grateful for their warmth. She had originally come for love, but despite that not working out, she had unexpectedly found friendship, which was a treasure in its own right. Cheers. After clinking glasses, everyone finished their drinks. Come on, let's not leave here without feeling a little buzzed tonight, Lulu said, pouring more wine into everyone's glasses. As they ate, drank, and chatted, the sadness of saying goodbye started to fade, and the atmosphere became warmer. Cindy, it doesn't matter if you weren't happy here. Once you're back, find someone who truly deserves your love. When you find your true love, you'll be happy, Lulu said, her arm draped around Cindy's shoulder as she swayed slightly. Don't worry, once I'm back, I'll find a guy who's handsome, kind, and adores me. I'll introduce him to you right away, Cindy declared boldly, a little tipsy herself. Great, I'll be eagerly waiting for the good news, Lulu replied, raising her glass for another toast with Cindy. Cheers. Cheers, Cindy echoed, finishing her drink in one gulp. Lulu was about to take another sip when someone suddenly took her glass away. Blinking in confusion, Lulu glanced around, murmuring unhappily, Hey, where's my drink? You're already drunk, no more for you, Spencer's voice sounded in Lulu's ear. Turning her head, Lulu saw Spencer holding her glass, and she instantly smiled. So my glass made a getaway to you. She reached for it, but stumbled and nearly fell, letting out a surprised, ah. Spencer quickly caught her, wrapping an arm around her waist. No more drinking, let's head home. Setting the glass down, Spencer turned to the others. Lulu's had enough. I'll take her home now. Okay, make sure she drinks some lemon ginger tea and takes it easy, Nicole advised. Don't worry, Spencer assured, then lifted Lulu up and carried her out. Lulu protested, still not wanting to leave. Hey, wait, I haven't finished my drink yet. We should head out as well, Martin suggested, furrowing his brow as he noticed Cindy slumped over the table. Ms. Riddle, I'll take you home, Patricia offered, then turned to Martin. Dear Wyance, Cindy's your responsibility. Martin nodded, understanding that Cindy wouldn't be able to make it home on her own in her current state. Patricia then addressed Nicole. Let's head out. Nicole, who hadn't been drinking due to her injuries, was likely the only sober person present. Plus, it was getting late, and Patricia felt it was important to make sure Nicole got home safely. Martin, we'll be leaving then, Nicole said, getting up. After assisting Cindy, who was clearly intoxicated, to stand, Martin added, You go on ahead, we might be a bit slower. Knowing they would move at a slower pace than Nicole, Martin didn't want to inconvenience them. Okay, Nicole agreed, departing with Patricia. As Martin watched them leave, he turned his attention back to Cindy, his brow furrowing with concern. "You shouldn't drink so much when you can't handle it," Martin said with a hint of helplessness. Supporting Cindy proved to be quite a challenge, so he ended up carrying her back to her apartment. After he laid her down on the bed and tucked her in, Martin went to the kitchen. He made some lemon ginger tea and helped Cindy drink it, making sure she finished it all before feeling a bit better. "Just try to sleep it off. You'll feel better in the morning," Martin said, putting the empty bowl away, ready to head out. Suddenly, Cindy grabbed onto the edge of his clothes, muttering something. Struggling to make out her words, Martin leaned in closer to hear her better. "Martin, don't you get how I feel? Why do you seem so cold? I'm leaving. I won't bother you anymore. I'm going back to get married. I hope you find happiness." "Martin, why don't you care about me?" While Martin was listening to Cindy's disjointed words, his frown deepened. "She's going back to get married? Why didn't she mention this before?" Standing up slowly, Martin felt a strange mix of emotions swirling inside him, making his steps feel heavy. Cindy rolled over, her voice choked with emotion, and it took a while before she drifted back into a deep sleep. Martin watched her for a moment before turning off the light and leaving the room quietly. As dawn broke, Cindy woke up with a slight headache, furrowing her brow as she sat up. Looking around at the familiar room, she blinked, trying to remember what had happened. Her friends had gone out for drinks to see her off, but how she ended up back in her apartment was a blur. She realized she hadn't even changed out of her clothes from the day before into pajamas. Her eyes fell on an empty cup on the bedside table, and she figured it must have had tea in it. "Someone must have brought me back and made me tea. I doubt I did it myself." Briefly, she thought of Martin, but she shook her head, pushing the idea away. After she got up and went through her morning routine, Cindy started packing her bags with a heavy heart, trying to focus on the task instead of dwelling on wishful thinking. "Even if Martin helped me, he just sees me as a friend." A role she knew he was limited to in her life. Meanwhile, in the lab, Martin was deep into his work when he heard Nicole saying that Lulu had left her backpack behind. Glancing up, he casually suggested, "I think I saw it. Let Cindy fetch it for you." But as soon as he said Cindy's name, Martin suddenly stopped, realizing his mistake. Cindy wouldn't be coming by anymore. After a short pause, he stood up awkwardly. "I'll get it. No need. Just tell me where it is. I'll grab it myself," Nicole said, aware that interrupting Martin's ongoing experiment would be inconvenient. "Okay, it's on the table outside," Martin directed her. "I won't bother you anymore. I'll just get it and go," Nicole said before picking up the backpack and leaving. Alone in the lab, Martin felt an unusual emptiness and solitude fill the space. With Cindy around, it seemed Martin never had to worry about anything. She always had everything organized and ready for him. Suddenly, without her, he felt somewhat lost. After Nicole retrieved the backpack and arrived at Riddle Corporation, Lulu immediately thanked her. Nicole was surprised to see Lulu at the office. "I thought you were supposed to rest at home. Why did you come to the company?" "I'm fine. I thought I'd do some work instead of just resting at home and being bored," Lulu shrugged, smiling. Handing the backpack to Lulu, Nicole advised, "You still look pale. Don't push yourself too hard." "I'll rest in the office if I get too tired," Lulu said, scratching her head sheepishly. "I didn't think I'd drink so much without realizing." "Now you know how uncomfortable it feels. Let's see if you dare to drink that much again," Nicole said, feeling a bit unsure. Lulu chuckled with guilt and then asked, "How's Cindy? She drank a lot too, didn't she?" Nicole shook her head. "I don't know. Cindy didn't come to the lab today." "She's probably not feeling well either," Lulu frowned. "She's leaving the day after tomorrow. Should we go see her off?" "We'll ask her when she's leaving," Nicole considered, thinking to herself. "If Cindy tells us when she's leaving, we'll go say goodbye. If she doesn't want to share, it's because she wants to avoid a sad goodbye, and we should respect that." "All right, Lulu said, grabbing her backpack. I'll head to my office then. Okay, Nicole replied, heading to her own office too. As Nicole settled into her seat, Patricia entered, announcing, "There's news." "Where is it?" Nicole's eyes narrowed slightly, her tone turning serious. Patricia replied, "The latest update just came in. The cargo was indeed intercepted by Everett's men at the previous port. They're on their way to San Giotto and should arrive tonight." Tonight? Nicole thought about what that meant. "Do you have a plan?" Patricia, sensing Nicole's determination, dared to ask. With a small grin, Nicole said confidently, "The cargo belongs to us. Naturally, I plan to retrieve it." "All right, I'll prepare." Patricia was already on board with the plan, and with Nicole's instruction, she was ready to move forward. "Be careful, Everett might be anticipating our move," Nicole cautioned. Patricia nodded solemnly. "Got it, don't worry." As she watched Patricia leave, a steely determination flashed in Nicole's eyes. Everett's interference with our cargo is just a ploy to disrupt our project and cause trouble. Nicole was resolute in not letting him succeed. "Now that we know where the cargo is, getting it back is the top priority, and we need to take precautions against Everett's further meddling." Nicole thought deeply, her expression serious. Under the cloak of darkness, on a quiet road leading into San Giotto, several trucks raced forward. Shadows crept silently, gathering near a clump of bushes before stopping. "Everything's set," Seth whispered. Charlie, his gaze locked on the approaching trucks, ordered, "Get ready to go." "Got it," Seth replied, then let out a sharp whistle. The whistle sliced through the night, sharp enough to feel like it could pierce eardrums.
If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.